Meredith Talbot. I'm the Bucks County Coordinator for Redistricting PA.
Both the League of Women Voters and Fair Districts PA are nonpartisan political organizations. We never support or oppose political candidates or parties, but we do work hard for policies that benefit voters, all voters. Today is a day on which leagues across Pennsylvania and across the entire country are shining a light on the process of redrawing voter districts. This year, 2021, marks a once-in-a-decade effort to redraw the boundaries of every state and congressional legislative district. This reapportionment will affect all of us for the next 10 years.
This process of drawing voting districts has been used to gerrymander and manipulate district boundaries in order to ensure that certain candidates are elected and the party in control gains disproportionate power. Increasingly, over the last 3 decades, legislative leaders have used powerful mapping technology to gerrymander voting districts, and that has resulted in fewer choices on our ballots, gridlock in Harrisburg and Washington, disillusioned voters, and disenfranchised voters. Jean?
Voters everywhere become aware of the damage done to our democracy caused by gerrymandering. Polls have shown that 70% of Pennsylvania voters want to see an end to this practice. We want districts that reflect the will of the voters, and we can get there by a more transparent process, public engagement, and clear, measurable map drawing standards.
So we're here today because a bill has been introduced in Harrisburg called the Legislative and Congressional Redistricting Act, or LACRA, which does all 3 things: more transparency, more public engagement, and measurable map drawing standards. Although the 2021 process has begun with the selection of the commission that draws the state legislative districts, there is still time to pass LACRA. 2021 census data won't be available until late summer. Meanwhile, LACRA would establish the necessary guardrails to prevent gerrymandering when the new districts are drawn. LACRA will have so many benefits for the voters of Pennsylvania. It will lead to more collaboration and less partisanship in policymaking. It will ensure that our legislators listen to their constituents more than to the party leaders. And it will assure voters that our votes count. And that's democracy. We want to express today our thanks to Representative Wendy Thomas of the 178th District here in Bucks County, who is with us today, and we want to thank her for being the prime sponsor of LACRA. This House bill and the Senate bill both have strong bipartisan support from across the state, including 11 out of 14 of our legislators from Bucks County. Representative Thomas, thank you for your leadership in introducing LACRA and for continuing to get it passed.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to physically see you, by the way. I just wanted to take a moment and thank the League and Fair Districts for this, but there's still a lot of work to be done. For me, if we didn't know this before, and I think we probably did, we certainly learned over the last year that we need more communication, more concise communication between our government and our population. But more than that, we need to be listening to the people. And so, the government can talk at us all at once, but if in return it doesn't listen to us, it doesn't work well for anyone. So I look forward to continue to work on this legislation, and I thank all the co-sponsors and all that Fair Districts and women voters to get those co-sponsors along with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In addition, we want to thank our Bucks County Commissioners for declaring their support for fair redistricting practices. They are among elected officials from 389 governing bodies, including 24 county commissions here in Pennsylvania, who have joined in this push for fair districts in our state. I'd like to present Commissioners Marsaglia, Commissioner DiGirolamo. I have one for Commissioner Harvey, who couldn't be here with us today. Would any of you like to make a comment?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our beautiful administration building and courthouse here in Doylestown. It's good to be with you today. This is such an important issue. I want to thank Fair Districts PA and the League of Women Voters for bringing this issue to the forefront, not only here in Bucks County, but across the state of Pennsylvania. And I cannot impress upon you how important this issue is. It is so important. When you look at what's going on in Washington and the discord down there, it just seems like if one party says they like something, the other party says they don't like it. And even up in Harrisburg, we have the same situation where Republicans try to pass bills with just Republican votes, and when the Democrats were in charge, they tried to do the same thing. And the most important thing that we can do to stop this bickering in Washington and in Harrisburg is pass a bill, Wendy Thomas's bill, and I know there's other bills up in Harrisburg that address the issue as well. We need to pass. I was up in Harrisburg for 25 years. I watched what was happening when we redistricted, and I'll tell you, it's like an iceberg, because what you can see on top of the water, of the iceberg, underneath the water is 10 times as big, what you can't see. And the reason this is so important is because, and both sides do this, Democrat and Republican, they try to redraw these lines to protect the incumbent and make them safe Republican seats and safe Democratic seats. So what happens, legislators, when it comes to election, they're more worried about somebody running against them in a primary than they are about somebody running against them in the general election, and that makes them not want to compromise with either side across the aisle, because they've got to be seen to be the most conservative legislature, and on the other side, the most liberal legislature. So we need a fair process to make sure these lines are drawn fairly. The people back in the district, the voters, need to send their legislators to Harrisburg. The leadership in the House and the Senate, Democrat and Republican, shouldn't send the legislator back to the district. The voters need to send their legislators up to Harrisburg. So let's get behind these bills. It's absolutely the right thing to do, and thank you for doing this here today.
I don't think I can say much more than that. That's perfect. But I do want to thank the League of Women Voters for doing this, for fighting for all of us to have fair districts, and to mention just the color purple. As a commissioner, I've been on both sides of the aisle, majority and minority, and we can get along, we can cooperate, and we can reach that color purple. Bucks County is the color purple. 11 of our 14 senators and representatives understand that. So we're in a good way. I do want to say, last night someone texted me a picture of President Biden, I guess, shaking hands with Congressman Fitzpatrick. That's just another example of purple, and that's what you get when you get fair districts.
I'd also like to welcome two of our legislators who have joined us today, who are co-sponsors of this legislation, Casey Tomlinson and Representative Shelby Labs. If you'd like to come forward and wave or say hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, Shelby and I are new to the legislature, but we like to start off on the right foot, and transparency is key. So we're totally on board, completely support our colleague Wendy Thomas, and very happy to be here.
Yes, I'll echo Representative Tomlinson. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having us. This is an important issue, and happy to be here to support our Wendy.
We know this is an uphill fight. We've been fighting this as the League of Women Voters for 30 years. And 5 years ago, the League and other organizations formed Fair Districts PA to focus on this issue here in Pennsylvania. And as a consequence, everybody in Pennsylvania knows about the problem of gerrymandering. We know this work is not done, but we're so close. We need voters and all of our elected officials, regardless of party, to help get LACRA passed. And we must amplify the message in the halls of Harrisburg that voters want fair districts.
So as Dean said, what happens this year affects the next 10 years. Together, all make this happen. So now it's time for greetings, and thank you all for coming.
I